Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Catherine. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you great. Yes, thank you. Yeah, your 6-minute start. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation, StartupBlink. It's a great privilege to obviously be presenting Malta's startup ecosystem. And obviously, we'll have to be doing it in 6 minutes, which is a bit of an audacious task. I'll start obviously by looking at, I think, the key attributes of Malta's economy when it comes to the startup ecosystem, and also in terms of Malta's attractiveness. If we look at recent stats, looking at, for example, the 2021 Digital Economy and Society Index, Malta ranked very highly out of the 27 EU member states. Besides that, and also post-COVID, the economic projections for Malta are very optimistic and very positive, being one of the highest amongst also other EU member states. Having said that, we also, I think, have to highlight the strategic location of Malta when it comes to obviously being in Europe, but also very close in terms of proximity to North Africa. Obviously, all these attributes contribute to Malta's attractiveness in terms of foreign direct investment, but also as an ideal place for startups and also larger businesses to relocate and shift their operations to Malta. I think obviously the major features of Malta in terms of its ecosystem is definitely its communications infrastructure, but also I think the right balance between having a very strong regulatory aspect, but also not in the way of innovation. So finding that right balance, I know, is very complex, but I think Malta as a jurisdiction has done tremendously well in finding that right balance between regulation and innovation. Again, when looking at our ecosystem, I think there are multiple stakeholders and players that contribute to Malta's success, whether it's the government itself, regulators, economic development agencies, startups themselves, investors. I think we have the right ecosystem with the right players in place to really create this environment where startups can really mature and scale up. I mentioned regulation, and again, whilst not stressing too much about the legislative approach from a regulatory aspect, I think we also have managed to assure a proper environment for our startups. Very recently, we launched our technology assurance sandbox, which gives an opportunity to both foreign and local startups, but also SMEs, to provide and achieve the necessary certification when it comes to certain standards within the technology field. A bit about Tech.mt. We are a public-private partnership between the government of Malta and the Chamber of Commerce. We are established on 4 key pillars of promotion, innovation, talent, and assistance. And these 4 pillars guide us in terms of really sustaining the technology sector here in Malta, which is one of the key pillars on which our economy is built. In terms of the value that we bring to the ecosystem, we are quite aware that startups are not just looking for fiscal incentives. They need mentorship, they need connections, they need knowledge. They also need certain insights to markets or reports or industry that ultimately costs money to actually generate. So we try and help our startup community and also all the players within the ecosystem by providing this value. In terms of funding opportunities, we have different stakeholders within the Maltese ecosystem that offer different incentives, whether it's of a fiscal nature or of an advisory nature. We have different agencies which provide different schemes and different incentives. I wanted to focus mostly on these 2 because we're speaking about the startup ecosystem, and obviously Malta Enterprise, as Malta's economic agency, also offers fiscal help, which can go up to 800,000 for startups which we feel have an innovative element to them. Obviously, like I said, other players contribute to the startup ecosystem, even from a research perspective, and we also offer financial support to startups that also have certain attributes when it comes to research development and innovation. One of the initiatives that we have as Tech.mt is also our strategic partnership. Over the years, well, to be more exact, over the past 24 months, we have onboarded a number of industry players, and these industry players provide assistance pro bono to any beneficiary, especially startups, who might have an innovative concept, but have perhaps no knowledge or experience of moving that concept forward. And what we've seen over the years that this initiative was received very well by the startup community, and it's something that we will continue building on and also include certain investment opportunities for our startups as well. Other initiatives we have, we also want to celebrate the success of our local startups. And one of our key initiatives, which is now in its 11th year, is the e-Business Awards. Whilst this year, I'm very proud in launching a new brand, which is called the Valletta Tech Summit. And again, the major focus of such a summit would be to bring both startups, established industry players, academia together to discuss different verticals of the technology field. The first edition, which will be held in April, will be focusing on the Internet of Things. And again, I do invite all audience members to join us during this first edition. Research is also a key component. And again, research costs money. And we do understand that startups generally do not want to allocate certain finances to market research or looking at certain industry highlights. So we do that for them. And Tech.mt over the years has provided such insights. At the end of last year, we launched our own national study when it comes to IoT. And in the coming years, we'll be also focusing on other verticals of the tech ecosystem. I will conclude by also showing the diversified sectoral representation of our ecosystem, whether we're speaking about the cloud, data analytics, IoT, AI, cybersecurity. We have an economy which is very diversified with key experts which work in all of these fields. I do obviously encourage you to reach out to us. And if you have any questions about the startup ecosystem, we will be more than happy to share them with yourselves.